Hi everyone, welcome to Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. It is Wednesday. I think I haven't been with y'all on a Wednesday in a while, but today you're in for an amazing treat. I'm bringing into the building, joining the Gray Tribe for tonight is Dr. Shawanda Moore, and she has a very interesting story to tell. She's going to tell us about her son, her late son. She's also going to tell us about her tax business. She has a good story to tell us, and I'm going to bring her into the building now. So, let's welcome Dr. Sharonda Moore into the building. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. And yourself?
Thank you. It's so great to meet you. It's just a pleasure. So thank you for coming to our show tonight. And we're just going to have a chat with you. When I read your story, so intriguing, so interesting. And I just really felt the need to just, talk to you because I had a connection. So just do us a favor. And can you tell us about yourself?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm shy. So I'm Dr. Shawanda Moore. I'm born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I have my PhD in public policy and administration of criminal justice. I'm pretty much a homebody. I'm a former educator. I taught science for over 10 years for middle school and high school. I enjoy doing community service in my city, helping people, giving back, praying, and putting God first. That's mainly the most important things about me. I'm a very lovable person.
I love it. Thank you for that. Beautiful. So teaching school, the students in science at that, that's like amazing, wonderful. So I brought you here today because I know that unfortunately, there was a tragedy that happened in your life. So you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, my son Sean was my business partner. When I first started my tax company, he was about 15 and he was persistent, with being able to help me. I was like, no, you're not 18, you don't understand. So he understudied me by doing basic intake information. And once he made around the age 18 19, he knew the business just as much as I did. So last year on September 29th, 2020, I was at work teaching and I got a phone call. The worst phone call of my life was his fiance saying, he was hit. So I'm like, he was hit? What you mean? And she's like, he was hit, he's dead. So I didn't know what she was referring to my son, his 1 year old son, my grandson. So the part of the story is that my son was sick. He came to my house the night before. He thought he had COVID. And he like, I don't feel well. So, as a mother, I'm like, get the Alka-Seltzer cold. I don't think it's COVID. Get out of here anyway, away from me if it is COVID, joking. So
Right.
went to the hospital, and once he was released, he had went to the pharmacy around 10 a.m. to get his prescription filled. And once he pulled up with, in the car with him, his fiance, and his 1 year old son, a guy walked around the car several times, circling in the car. So they stood because I saw the video. So they stood in the car for maybe 5 minutes. Then they got out, and my son did ask him, what was the problem, and the guy said nothing, no problem at all. And according to the video, the guy got in the car, he drove off. My son went into the pharmacy to get his prescription filled. However, the guy came back on foot with a gun in his pocket. He walked up. So that way my son didn't even know the threat was still there. First of all, like the fiance said, they didn't think it was a threat at all because they didn't exchange no real serious words besides my son Sean saying, what's the problem? What do you need? Something like that. And the guy like nothing. I'm waiting on my medicine, and he pulled off. He came back on foot, with a gun in his pocket. He was scratching and everything else. He hid behind a big brick pole, I guess they want to call it. My son came out. He allowed my son to put the baby in the car seat and strap the seatbelt on him. The fiance got on the driver's side, and I knew my son had to be sick because he never let a female drive. You know how men think,
Yeah.
we the worst drivers. So as he proceeded to get in, the guy walked up behind him on the camera and shot him in the back of his head. He fell to the ground. The fiance got the call. She ran, leaving the baby because she was shot, and my son Then she ran back, and she was talking to my son. I couldn't hear what she was saying. He got up. He was able to get in the car, and she tried to drive off, and the guy continued shooting. By the grace of God, he didn't injure my grandson or his fiance, but the bullet, a second bullet, hit him in the throat. And she
Mm,
said, she witnessed this, and she like that's what took his life. So,
mm,
and it hurted me because I felt like, my son didn't even have a chance to defend himself, and he didn't live a lifestyle to be murdered. And I know
right,
God has his own reason and his ways. It don't really have to make sense to us. It made sense to God to call him home, but for me and being a human, you know, it hurt. I feel like somebody stole something from me for no reason because he wasn't that type of person, and he was sick and only at a pharmacy to get his prescription filled because I raised my sons to say stay out the street, don't be in crowds because I'm trying to protect them the best way I can. And this incident happened, nothing like I tried to prepare them from. This happened at a pharmacy
right.
in
Oh,
broad day, 10 o'clock in the morning.
yeah. My condolences. That's just so heart-wrenching. Did they ever catch the person that did it?
Yeah, he turned to himself in maybe like a week later.
Really?
Yeah.
And what was his reasoning? Did he say?
From my understanding from the detectives, he said that, he didn't realize what he was doing. He was on drugs, and
Um,
that he was sorry.
mm, mm. Yeah, that's so sad. So, how old was your son at the time?
21. And what also hurt is that since the age of 19, my son always say, I can't wait till I'm 21, mama. I can't wait till I'm 21 so I get my own house and I can start my trucking company because the age was hindering him from doing a lot of independent things. And the sad part is that, he had a 778 credit score. They did call him a week before the closing this house. We was working on that. And he had the
Mm,
money saved up to start his trucking company, but he only lived to see 4 months of 21, and he waited 2 years, by saying, "I can't wait till I make 21," and only was able to see 4 months of it.
wow, wow. How is his fiance doing?
She's pretty much in and out. Like she have moments, because she's witnessed it, where she's crying, and she feel like she should have went to, and
Mm,
and she just said it keep playing in her head over and over the entire incident, and she like, I should have went to the pharmacist for him. I shouldn't have, brought him there, so she, grief make you try to figure out ways that you can, change the situation that's already done.
yeah, yeah. My heart breaks for her and goes out to her, and I'll be praying for her also.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And how's your grandson?
Oh, well, when he was one, he had a breakdown. I never knew kids understood this until a psychologist told me that, he understands what happened. He just can't express it.
Oh,
So, when it first happened, he'll come in and say, I want my dad. He'll yell real loud, or he'll ball his fist up like, I want my daddy. But now that he's two, if he see a picture of my son, he'll kiss it and he'll like, that's my daddy, because he don't really understand. But he knew at that moment he witnessed his dad, being murdered. It was traumatizing because he wouldn't go near the car. He see the car, I had to put a cover over it because like their dad in there, their dad in there. So, we just make sure we keep him knowing who his dad is and knowing that his dad loved him. So, from my son outside the family, we just embrace him with the utmost level of love, each and every day. And we also support the fiance as well.
that's beautiful. Yeah, she's definitely going to need it, and I'm glad y'all still supporting her and are there for her. That is just a very sad and horrific story. I mean, I understand, I guess, that he's saying he was on drugs, but then you could be on drugs, but where do you get a gun from?
Yeah, he left the scene and came back with the gun. That's why I told the detectives, like,
Oh,
find this person because if he had that gun on him the first time, he would have stood there and unfortunately murdered my son then. But he left and came back on foot because he stood 2 blocks from the pharmacist. So to me, in my opinion, he had every intention coming back to murder my son. So even though he's charged with second-degree murder, my degrees are in criminal justice. I'm like, it's first degree because it was the intention. You left, it was no threat. You left the scene, you came back, you hid behind a pole, you had a gun, you snuck up behind him, so you intended to murder him.
Yes, I forgot that quick you said that piece of it. I do agree with you, right? Because you said first he was walking around the car,
Yeah,
right?
own vehicle. He walked around. I don't know if he thought my son was the drug dealer he was waiting on, because when the police checked the store,
Oh,
he didn't have a prescription in the pharmacist. So like he told my son and his fiance when they asked him why he walked around the car, how can we help you, or whatever the exact words was, she knows. And he said, I'm waiting on my medicine. So when the police checked the store with the pharmacist, he didn't have a prescription in. So we like, okay, maybe he was waiting on somebody to bring drugs. And that may be the reason why he circled my son car, because my son young, he did have a nice car with rims and tinted windows, so by him not being able to see in it, he probably circled waiting, thinking that my son was the
come out and give him whatever he was waiting to get. Yeah.
asked him, because he's a man too, why you walked around my car, or what can I help you with? He said it, like the fiance said politely, like, I'm just waiting on my medicine. And she said he got in the car and he pulled up, because she kept saying, I don't even know where he came from. So when I saw the video, I said that because he came from behind y'all. He intentionally walked back, left the car where it was at, and he walked back and hid behind. It's like a big brick pole. It's not a small pole. I don't know what you call it, per se, but it's a big.
Hmm.
It holds the building up,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and so he hid behind that part until my son got ready to sit in the car and just walked up to him, shot him in the head.
Oh my God. And you watched the video of that?
Up until that part,
Okay.
up until when he walked up, they didn't let me watch any more of it.
Okay. Okay.
Then they showed me him on the ground, and they showed the fiance coming back, getting him up. He got in the car, and as she was pulling off, the guy was still shooting. Another car came and picked the perpetrator up. So someone assisted him by picking him up in a different type of car, not the same car he was in before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy. So sad too. So did they have an actual trial or he just took a plea deal?
Well, he pled guilty, and they asked me, would I be interested in giving him a lighter sentence? I'm like, no, because had my son did him something, was living the street life, I will be a fair individual and say, yeah. But my son didn't do him anything. So I'm like, if I can't get my son back in 25 years, then no, no.
Right. I no, totally, totally understand.
I'm
So
a
how much time did he end up getting?
we still going through it,
Oh,
the trial not when it's scheduled for 2022, so we still have
wow.
2 months to go through it.
Okay. Was he a young guy? A young kid?
43.
You said 43?
Yes, ma'am. 43.
Wow.
And that would surprise me too, because the police kept saying it had to be somebody young. I'm like, my son didn't have any altercations. He told me everything. He was more of a family guy at a young age. So, he was mainly like you see at the pharmacist with his son and his fiance.
Right.
Was more of a motivator, because the trucking company, he kept saying, "Man, if I thought my trucking company, I could get all my friends a job and they get in the second truck, and I could be the boss like you is, He like, and if it don't work out, I could stick with the tax company." So he was like a male version of me, you know,
Yeah.
very supportive of me, and unfortunately,
Mm.
God called him home, because I do believe in God, and I know that we all have our expiration date, and it was his time to go. It's just that the way he went just didn't sit with me, because it didn't match his lifestyle. But I know that's above my understanding as well.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's answers. It's questions that I guess we just have to wait to get the answer to, right? So was he your only child?
No, I have 8 kids. He was
Uh-huh.
my middle child, my tied middle child, but he was a strong.
Okay.
He kept the family going. Like he always made sure everybody, All his siblings did events at least once or twice a month. He made sure I was straight. He would come to my house 6 in the morning, talking about you didn't answer the phone. I'm like, so he would come to my house 3, 4 times just to make sure, I was straight. And whenever I had depressed moments, it's like his soul felt it. He'll come.
Mm,
My turn on Lifetime, watching a movie with you. So he was like, I would say, a angel, a strong person that God allowed me to know for 21 years. That showed me what love really was, and how it feels to have somebody real supportive in your life. I just said 21 years wasn't long enough. And as a mother, you never expect your children to go before you. That's
right.
your thinking. We think that it's an order operation, but it's not, God's will to go exactly the way we want things to go.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's extremely hard
Yeah,
because, as you stated, as parents, you never want to be bury your child. You feel like the order, as you were stating, is that they should bury us,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, that's heart wrenching. How is his siblings doing?
Well, it's a lot of grief with them. Well, the activities decrease. Uh,
Mm,
like it's not a strong family anymore. Like, uh, most of them depressed about situation where they'll call me and say, "Mom, I miss my brother because my daughter said my car broke and Sean not here and I don't have any help." And my other daughter said, "Well, I started my photography business and my brother's supposed to be my model, my male model, and he's not here." So it's hard for me trying to encourage them and keep myself strong. And I have two younger kids. So my youngest kids are I have a younger son that's 12 and my daughter is 10. And she and Sean were like best friends. He would TikTok with
mhm.
her, he would dance with her. So those two, by being younger and not fully understanding it, I think it affected them more, and that's what hurted me by them being so young and looking for answers on their own, like why he had to go, mine, why the man didn't go, why this didn't happen, how come God didn't stop it. So just having to answer all those questions from my kids, it was hard.
I'm sure it definitely was. I feel like I'm gonna pray for you that someone else in the family steps in
Uh-huh.
and helps y'all get back to these activities because your son Sean will want you to do that. Somebody to pick up the reins and kind of carry on and pick up where he left off. Um, I think he'll be smiling down at y'all if y'all did that.
And
And I'm sure it's hard, huh?
I said I agree because he was cheerful, and that's why I'm always proud to speak on him. And I tell people I'm gonna allow his legacy to live through me, as he wanted to be, that entrepreneur. I will, purchase a truck or two, and put his name on there so that could be carried out as much of his vision as I can to let him, keep living on through me.
I
That's
love it.
the best I can do as a mother. I can
Yeah.
still here with me sometimes.
Yeah,
I,
it is a good thing. Say that again.
I say, but I miss him. It's real hard. It's real hard.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. I can't even pretend to imagine, especially, because it was just his life was just taken away out of nowhere. It may be slightly different if someone is sick and that it may be happening, but to just get that heart wrenching phone call, to hear something's happened, and then to hear right after, like that's it. So did he go in the car or did they pronounce him in the hospital?
He actually died in the car.
Um,
Nancy was driving, she described it. She said he kept saying, "I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay." And she said he said it about 6 times. Then she said like the blood turned from red to black. And she said when it just a bunch came out, she said she knew that was it. And my son was like a crybaby. So, and that what made me hurt even more. So, like, was it pain? Because
Yeah.
if he pricked his finger at 21, Mom, I'm coming. I need a band-aid. And he got hit by a car on a dirt bike. And he came, oh, my leg, I think it's broken. So he was like a drama king for pain. And that was
Mhm.
even most like this man and shot my son, put my son in pain. But I learned from a pastor that when God call you home, you don't feel any pain. That
Mm.
he didn't feel pain. He said that's why he kept saying he was okay because God was, intervening at that point. So I'm
Yeah.
believing
I
what the
believe that. I'm believing that with you, especially because, like you said, he kept telling, his fiance, like, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. And I think, like you said, to me, I believe in God also. It's probably because he was already being surrounded and the arms were being wrapped around him. And
yeah,
that's why he kept saying he was okay.
yeah. 'Cause I'm telling you, he could prick the finger. He was coming for a band-aid. Like little kid. I told him like, what? I stuck my finger. Like, I know you lying.
So, thank you. I know that wasn't easy to even, tell your story and share your story and kind of relive it. And I'm sure it was difficult to even watching the piece of the video that you did have to watch. But I guess in some sense too, like, thank God it was a video, because did that help them identify the person that did do it? Well, you said he turned himself in.
Yeah, after a while, yeah.
Okay. All right. Was it like, did they put it, was it on the news that they was looking for this person?
No, I requested that they didn't put it on the news because the media destroys a person's character, and I told them because I have a former police background, and so
Okay.
I requested that they didn't put it on the news because I didn't want anybody saying, "Oh, it's drug related." Because when something hit the news, everybody want to assume they know what happened, but don't
Yeah.
know. So, I refuse to allow anybody to destroy my son' character. So, keep it off the news. Let's do this a different way. Let's use the evidence we have and take this person down. So, when they tracked them down, it was because the person that picked them up, they was able to get the license plate of that person
Mm.
first, and they gave him a phone call. So he gets on the phone and called the guy and say, "Hey, they know you did it because it was surrounded by cameras." And that's how they got the name and the information. They went to his mom's house twice. They saw the car there, and on the third time, I mean the third day, he just turned himself in. So
Wow.
that was after I had to forgive the man because I'm being honest. I'm being real honest. I was revengeful. Like blood for blood. Honestly. You know,
Hmm.
my uncle. He's a man of God, and he like Wanda. You have to forgive him. You have to.
Mm.
And when I prayed to forgive him, the next day he turned himself in. So
Wow.
he like God don't want you to, scoop to that level, shorten your blessings. Just go ahead and pray, forgive the man for what he's done, And I did, and I'm like, wow, God is amazing because the next day the detective called me and said, we have him. I'm like, great, so
Wow.
to relieve that evilness, I'm gonna say out my heart of wanting my own revenge, because
Right.
like you, my age, Mister, I can't see myself, fighting a 21-year old or trying to harm somebody. I will try to mentor and correct the issue if I can, but it wasn't even an issue. So I guess it's just something that I'll never understand.
Yeah. You won't understand. But you know what? Look, you just told another lesson in there, the power of prayer.
Yeah,
And thank God he said just pray. I mean, and it's understandable, like when you're in that much pain, even when you're not in that much pain, sometimes you want revenge on things people have done to you.
yeah,
But to be that level of pain, oh yes, look at God.
yeah,
Yes. Uh-huh. I do. I totally agree. Like, look at God. So, to be in that level of pain and to be able to, yes, go ahead, take that advice and pray. And listen, God responded right away for
yes,
the next day for that guy to have turned himself in. To me, nothing but God. So again, thank you. So yeah, prayer is amazing. Yes. So how are you like going through to get yourself through it? Did you go to counseling? Like, what are you doing?
Well, at first I felt suicidal, I
Mhm.
felt like it should have been me, because you're a mother, you want to take all the pain from your children. So I was mad that I was teaching that day. I said I should have stood home and went with my son to the hospital. Even though he's 21, my mind was like,
Yeah.
you, that's my baby. And I'm like,
Right.
I would have been with him, when this happened. I never took it out on God. I never. My faith stood in God. That my son was a praying young man. I taught him that he believed in God. I believe in God to the fullest. I just asked God, like to help me understand it. So in due time, I ran into an old friend from 20 years ago, which is my fiance now. He came in, so I started talking with him after a period of time, and he started making me smile again. And my friends was like, I like this. She's smiling again. Only because we grew up and we had some silly moments, and that brought me to a little laughter,
Hmm.
kind of ease some of the pain. So he started, quoting scriptures like, read this, read this. I'm gonna pray with you. He gave me a list every morning. Monday, read this in the evening, read this at night. So I did say I would give him a shout out. His name is Antoine Perrier.
Yes,
He's
give him a shout out. Yes, God bless him. And congratulations.
he's responsible for me coming through this along with God, because he taught me how to develop an even closer relationship with God. Like I always knew how to pray, but I didn't understand, scripture by scripture, and knowing which scriptures to resort to. And also his late grandmother, she recently passed, rest in heaven. She did, take me under her wing, and she said, this is how you get over this. She been through it before with her son, and she like,
Mm,
you can't just grieve yourself to death because your son is not expecting you to leave his son. You have a grandson to look after. Also I had a host of friends and co-workers that wouldn't leave me alone. They actually helped me gain weight because they came every day with chicken and donuts. My friend Malia,
aw,
Shantae, my real sister Shavonda. So they all came, a host of people, Miss Washington, Miss Hart, my co-workers, they all came, my principal, they came to the house. They just made sure that I felt some love and that I was okay. But it was hard. My psychologist and I, we was bumping heads because she don't have kids and she didn't understand. I kept saying that I want to die, and she would get real angry at me. And I told her, you don't really understand because you don't have kids. Yes, you have this degree, you have this experience, but you never had the one I'm having. So, after we bumped heads a few times, we kind of worked it out, and recently, a month ago, why I can smile now is that I cried every night, and my son came to me in a dream for the fourth time. So I'm gonna tell you about the first time he came in a dream. The first time he came in a dream, it's like it was realistic, but I didn't know he was deceased. It's like he opened my run door and I was in the bathroom. He's like, Mom, what you doing? And I'm like, using the bathroom. How mothers be using the bathroom. And he like, oh, tell Frank, that's my oldest son, stop wearing my clothes because it's brand new, and he always touching my stuff and always talking about he got his own money. I said, okay, baby. And I'm like, Sean, you dead? I said, what took you so long to come see me? And I ran them off. So
mm.
when my oldest son came over here, because he was staying at the time, I said, what you had on for your brother? And he jumped up and he like, this shirt and this jacket. so So I'm like, so I guess he was letting me know that he's still watching over us, that he
Yes.
us, because he literally had on. He like, oh, this. I said, is it new? And he like, yeah, it was new. It's for my brother. I said, well, he know you have it on. And my son set up, and he was looking. And then for Christmas, I didn't want to do anything, but the family came over. We enjoyed Christmas. He came to me in a dream that day, and he like, y'all act like y'all ain't see me. Nobody was talking to me. Y'all had fun, and I was trying to enjoy it with y'all. And I'm like, baby, we only could see you in the dream. So it's like I was trying to explain it, because I think that at that time he probably didn't realize that he was no longer here. I don't understand the afterlife. I'm just saying from my
Right.
education, you know.
Right.
So, but he did tell me, y'all had fun for Christmas, y'all dance, y'all, what we usually do. So it's like reminding me that he was with me. The third time he came, he was telling me about somebody named Anthony, and he like my ex Jadelle, that's his fiance's name. Who is Anthony? I'm like, okay, he's talking in a dream. He like, don't forget, because you're gonna forget, which I will. And he like, ask her tomorrow, who is Anthony? So I'm like, all right, son. So I couldn't wait to wake up. Come like, wait, is this another boyfriend? Who is Anthony? So when I called her, she had me on speaker, and I said, Jay, I said, Sean came to me in a dream, and he told me actually who was Anthony, and she started crying. I'm like, what? And she's like, Anthony is her late uncle. He was murdered at a young age, and her mother started crying as
Mm.
well. And it was like he don't even know nothing about Anthony, so they were trying to connect it to where do spirits meet, after how light worked after that. But she was like, yeah, Anthony is my uncle.
Wow.
And the last time he came, I was crying and boohooing, and he like, mine, like in his normal voice, what you keep crying for? I said, because I miss you, son. And he like, why? I'm good. I'm in heaven. And I said, okay. And he like, do you know how beautiful heaven is? And I'm like, duh, no. He like, well, it's beautiful. I'm with God. Stop crying. Handle your business. And somebody called my phone, and I woke up. So I be wanting to talk more, but I think that
Right.
he only comes, I don't know how, to give me certain messages. But once he gave me that one, I'm like, okay, well, he okay. He says he's with God. It was him. It was his voice. It was the same expression when he excited about something. He was smiling like, come on, woman, I'm in heaven. Like, it can't get no better than this. So
Yeah.
that kind of gave
Um,
me a little
I'm
more.
I'm glad he came to you. I'm glad you have a wonderful support system. Karen said, Amen. God is good. Congratulations. Stay strong. Prayer is powerful.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Kev asks, Crazy Kev, did your other children have to go to therapy?
My younger kids did. The older ones, they refused to go. They want to deal with it their own way. So that's how everybody separated. They want to be alone, But for holidays, they do try to come. They try to come together. It's not organized, but I appreciate whatever they do, because
Yes.
to the point, we need sandwiches, we need punch, they just come.
That's nice. That's what it's about, right? Here we go again. So this is so powerful. That was God trying to get her to come to terms with her son's death by explaining it to her son. This is amazing. Thank you for sharing your story. It's touching. It's touching. So it's touching me. It's touching so many people. And I'm glad he came to you too and was like, listen, I'm in heaven. Um,
And he
don't worry about me.
And I
Yeah.
hurt. I'm like, I still cried. I'm like, I'm still gonna cry because, again, that's my son. So my grieving is a little lighter, most days, but then it's heavy because he still left behind that now 2-year-old child. And that hurted me that someone would murder you in front of a child, not
Mm,
considering what if you would have murdered, the baby. And then what did my son do you to cause this? You shot my son down like an animal as if he had owed you money or something, and it just don't make sense. And I asked, can I write the man a letter? And they told me no. I just want to know why, from
yeah.
I know God's purpose, our time expire, but I still want to know the worldly purpose. Why?
Yeah. I could totally understand that. I would want to know too, like why. And then like you said, this wasn't you kept shooting. Like, okay, you did it and then you just kept shooting. Like, what was the purpose of that?
Maybe because when my daughter-in-law, I still refer to her as that because I'm never gonna get another one. Got behind the wheel to drive. Maybe he thought she was gonna try to run him over, which I would have. But um, she panicked, you know,
Yeah.
and she said she thought she was dead. She's like it was an out of body experience for her. She said she thought the baby was dead. She thought she was dead, and she knew for a fact that my son, was shot.
Yeah. She did amazing in that position because
She didn't
like,
leave. I tell her that she didn't leave him on that ground. When
yeah.
tried to jump in that car and pull though, she made sure that she got him up. She didn't pick him up, but you could just see her emotion was during this, and she was just moving him out. So whatever she spoken to him, he was able to get up.
Yeah.
Able to get up. He was able to get up and get
Mm.
on.
Yeah, that's amazing in and of itself. Also, wow, it's just, the violence in our some of our communities is just, that's a whole nother thing that we gotta kind of come together as a village and address, because we're killing each other, we're killing our own. It just does, it's senseless violence that hurts families and now generations, because he has a son that is now left behind, he has a fiance that is left behind, and she is, in addition to everything, she's grieving and she's traumatized. um how do you get over that? Like, who sees something like that? Like, you seeing the love of your life right before your eyes, and this happens, and I'm sure she felt hopeless. So definitely, everybody that's listening to this or that may see the replay, pray for the family, because it's a lot.
And it's
It's a lot.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous because even before I started my business, I had a social group, and I have a picture of my son when he was 12, and we did some stop the violence marches. And I looked, I cried because he had a shirt on where I had it made and it said, "Shooting anybody hurts everybody." So when we were marching,
Mm,
we would wear those shirts, let them know that when you shoot and you kill somebody, it hurts, everybody, not just that family. It hurts our entire race, our community. It affects the lives of, potential people that look up to this person. So it hurts everybody. And, he was down for everything, the community service. That's why, like, even though he was murdered September 29th, I still did my 100 Thanksgiving baskets. Every year I try to give away 100 Thanksgiving baskets. I do a toy drive for children in the community. And he will always be right there with me, excited, even one Christmas when they made me mad. I say, the money I'm gonna spend with y'all, I'm gonna buy these toys and I'm gonna give them away. And he went with me to the nursery. Like the other kids, like, I'm not going with her. He like, I understand our report card would be, because I try to teach them that they have other kids, out here that don't have that
mhm.
their education and value what their parents do for them. So that was a lesson I try to teach them. Like, what, Christmas canceled for y'all. I'm gonna take the money and I'm gonna donate it, to a nursery to some kids that can benefit from this. And he like, okay, he the
He
only
was
one with
he
me.
was
So
an
like,
angel on earth. He was an angel on earth. He definitely was special.
he went with me. The rest of the kids like, nah, I'm not having that. But and that's the thing. Go back and we laugh at my kids. They're like, remember he went with you? That was crazy in him. I'm like, no, that was the heart he had. He had a heart like mine. He was all
Mhm.
giving. And I still do a lot of community service to this day. And I always mention his name. I honor him as an honorary CEO of our company because that's his position. I keep his picture on our website, on the social media um, outlets, just to keep him going, keep his memory there because he started it with me and he gonna finish with me.
That's nice. Beautiful. So here we go again, said Dr. Moore. I want so desperately for you to focus on your son's time on this earth, having a purpose. He has fulfilled his purpose here on earth. Even how we leave this earth is purposeful.
That
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And that's how I look at it. And it's just that we have we human, we have a spiritual side and then we have the worldlified side. So the spiritual side for me, I knew that. I said my son served his purpose and he, nobody said anything negative about him. Everybody was like, even the guy at the oil change place, and he saw him with the shirt on. And he like, that was your son? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, he was so respectful. He was very well mannered. So, it's it's rewarding to hear positive things about your children when you know that you did your best to raise them. And I raised them as a single parent. So it made me feel good, but then I still wanted my son. But I
Yeah.
know that, God needed him, his purpose, what he did in my life, what he did in the siblings' life, and the people that he touched lives, that it will always be there.
Hmm.
I'm understanding of it, but it still just hurt because you're human, you know.
Yes.
And I would say
Yes.
we do have a bit of selfishness. Like, why not, God? Can I get another year?
Yes.
The most hurtful part was, like you said, I didn't get to say goodbye. You know, and
Yeah.
and God was with me too because my strength came in when I viewed the body. I very seldom attend funerals. So I went. I wasn't nervous. I looked at the body. I said, "That's not my son. That's a body. His spirit is free." You know.
Mm.
So I knew that it didn't get me to cry, because I'm looking at a shell, a body that held a soul. I'm like, he's free, now he's, with God, being an angel, looking down, putting things in place and serves, I want to say, serving his new purpose.
Yes, serving his new purpose. Yes. I totally agree. You said here we go saying said you're so right about how our lives affect so many people, and so does our death, but mostly the way we live. Cling to your spiritual side. You are a blessing to us. Thank you. Here we go again.
I,
Love you, girl.
I
Yeah, that's
back, it keeps me going. And that's why I just want to tell my story, because I know there's a lot of people out there who has, lost, their children, because I can
mhm.
tell I lost my mom at 16. I lost my dad at 21. So, I just kept saying I'm losing everybody. But I can tell people this: losing your child is totally different. And only because we try to live by that operation. I'm supposed to bury my mom. I'm supposed to bury my dad, but not my child. And it was like, Sean felt his debt, because 2 weeks before, he set me down. He said, "I'm 21, man. Let's have a talk." He talked about, getting me to push forward more of my business and, use my credit score, because my credit was not where his was. I'm like, "No, baby, do your thing for your family." He like, "Feel like I'm gonna die. Like nothing ain't moving fast enough for me." And I'm like, "Stop
Mm.
saying that. You don't want things to move fast." He's like, "I want my house for my son and my fiance. I want the trucking company to bring in money." And he like, "Let me sign. 'Cause I don't own a house yet. I'm claiming it." He like, "Let me sign for your house, since I'm not getting mine fast enough." That was before he got the phone call saying about the closing. So he just wanted to be giving, supportive, and wanted to be the lead in the head of the family. And he will always tell me,
Mm.
"You deserve the best man you can find. Don't let a man misuse you, abuse you, because you're beautiful. You're intelligent, and always remember that." And I'm like, "Why is he telling me?" I just felt like, "Why is he telling me this?" And 2 weeks later, that happened.
Wow.
And so all I have with me is that as a goodbye. But him not knowing exactly why, he just kept saying, "I feel like I'm gonna die. I feel like I'm gonna die, because nothing moving fast enough for me." And I'm like,
Mm.
being a mother, life's not supposed to move fast, son.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know,
Wow, that's amazing. That story. They do say though, like it's so weird, but they say people just like I don't know if they know, but maybe God does something so that they can give people that they really love, like their last goodbye, so to speak. And that speech that he gave you probably was like his last goodbye.
yeah,
But the good man came to you.
yeah,
The good man came to you. Yes, amen. Oh, I know, right? Here we go again. I know. I'm over here trying to hold myself together. Yes. God was speaking through your son to you. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why
So,
I carry
go
out
ahead.
everything he told me. You know, like even things. It's like he pretty much went down all his siblings. Tell her do this. Tell him do this. Tell her do that. Mom, you gotta do this. Like he was putting everything in order for us. So that's why I shared it with them. I'm like, he gave it to me, for a reason. I'm giving it to you guys to do something with it, because this is what he wanted, us to do.
Yeah. So that's just it's just so touching. So I know you said you have your tax business and he was helping you out and you're making him like the honorary CEO on it too. Talk to us a little bit about that. But actually before I go into that, I did hear you say which I didn't know, your mom died when you were 16.
Yeah.
Wow. And you said your dad at 21. Just talk to us a little bit about that.
Lots of pain. I tell people that my life was full of pain, but I'm still blessed by God, because it's hard, not having a mom, for one. You have Mother's Day, you have your mom's birthday, you have the times when you're mad at your best friend and your boyfriend, and you don't have that person to talk to that may understand. Well, hey, Shawanda, that was your fault or that wasn't your fault, baby. Because I look at both ways. Like, I play the role in some kind of way. I'm never gonna be perfect. I play the role in something. Maybe I rolled my eyes, or maybe I did have an attitude. I always try to find where the problem can be corrected at. So, growing up, and not having a mom was hard because my mom left behind a younger brother that I had to take on. So at 16, I had to raise my 14-year-old sister, and I had to raise my 5-year-old brother with the help of my family. So it's like the big, and plus I had kids. I was a teenage parent, so I had to. But unlike my son, my mom did have the opportunity to say goodbye. She had cancer, and she just kept saying like, "Wanda, take your brother. Make sure your sister's straight." Mama going. I can't suffer anymore. I'm not fighting. I'm giving up, and
Wow.
she left me. You know,
Yeah.
and
How old was your mom?
uh, 34.
Wow, she was young.
Yeah, 34.
She was young. Okay. And then you said your dad passed when you were 21?
Yeah. And my dad had he drunk a lot. So he drunk a lot of liquor. And even though he had I think it's a liver or kidney problem, I can't recall, he ended up having a seizure after Hurricane Katrina in one of the trailers, and they found him, you know.
Wow.
But my
Wow.
the perfect dad because he spoiled me, and he made sure that I knew how it was to be a young lady, and he gave me the world. Anything I asked for, he'll say no, Shawanda, then turn around and say here, So yeah, so
That's so
get
sweet.
older and you have your breakups and you have your altercations. You look for mom and dad to be the ones to lift you up to go lay in the bed with mom and drink coffee, milk, or something, just to feel a little love. And kid, I didn't have that, so it's like I had to be the lead of my own individual family. Like my sister. And then some of my older family members, like pretty much, I did everything I did so I can break generational curses in my family. Like I'm one of the first to get a college degree. So like when I finished high school, I was like, I don't want to go to college, but I'm like, no, I have to go to college because nobody else went. So let me
Right.
sit out. So I went and I got a degree at the degree at the degree. And then I thought about like Dr. Martin Luther King. I said, well, you know what? I want to do something that's honorary and staying strong, for my family. So I'm gonna go and get my PhD to get the doctor in front of my name, so I can hopefully, inspire others to do the same thing. My kids, my cousins, and others. They did have some that follow me. I have a lot of registered nurses in my family now, but I hold the most degrees and the highest degree level, and I'm proud of that.
And I'm proud of you too.
I'm,
I'm proud of you too, sister. Amen. God bless you. God bless you.
yeah,
Really, and especially from, it's easy to make excuses, right? And so you telling your story and then telling your story, knowing everything you went through, and you still did all of that schooling, like, God bless you. I'm proud of you. I love it, Dr. Moore. I love it. I'm very proud of you. So, Dr. Moore, here we go again. Said, I hope you see what we see, that God was preparing you for your testimony you are giving today.
yeah.
Yeah.
I tell people that's why I have a testimony. I do. I have a few testimonies. I know God is real, and that God is with me and that He's gonna guide me through it. But the selfish part of me wanted my son. Like, take me.
Yeah.
I have my degrees. I didn't accomplish what I can. Take me. But I continued the taste company. I was gonna give it up. My friends stepped in. My best friend who I call my sis. She took the initiative. Shantae Williams, by the way, if she's
Oh, that's right. Shout them out. Shout them out.
I'm gonna take the training classes for you. I'm gonna make sure I run this part, And my best friend Malika, she knew nothing about taxes, but she stepped in to say, I'll do a little more to keep this company going. And then when my fiance came along the picture, he also motivated me and said, teach me whatever you can, so I can help you, but keep going. So that's what I did. And I say that, those three people, along with a few others, because they're closer to me and they see me more often than anybody, they inspire me to do so much more. I cried on their shoulder. I knew I aggravated them sometimes, especially when I had those suicide thoughts, they would come running. I still remember my friends coming trying to come through the window in here when I didn't. And my fiance was on FaceTime one night, and he just watched. I looked up, and I see him looking over me. Like, I prayed over you the whole night, because he
Wow.
watched me take about 6 pills. I'm like, I can't do this. And he couldn't stop me because we over the phone. So he called my friends. I'm like, I'm not opening the door for them. I really want to go. I really want to go.
Mm.
Um,
I'm
I,
I'm so glad that you have the people that you have in your life. They sound amazing. We may have to bring you back again and bring some of your bring Sharonda, Dr. Sharonda Moore and friends. It's really important because some people don't have the support system and they go through things alone. So I'm so grateful that you had everyone that you have. Think about all of the biblical figures that we read about, like Moses, Job, Joseph, etc. They all went through so much, and those things are all lessons for us today. You are a chosen soul. Oh my God. Here we go again. I'm not gonna make it through this.
I love her because I hope we
Yeah.
can connect. I hope she please, because she's inspiring me, because I always say that. I'm like, I had this hard, painful life because God choosing me for something. I don't know what it is, and I know, like, I have heard God speak before. Like, I tell people, like Brian Katrina. My sister called me and said, "You leaving?" And I'm like, "No, I'm staying right here. I can't afford to go." I laid my head down, and a voice said, "Get up, take the children and go." And I got up, took my children, and I left. And when I was in Baton Rouge looking at them, like, oh my God, all I could do is cry. It become like, God got me out there, because again, at the time I had 6 kids. I can't swim. So I'm like, you know, and I'm gonna just jump in the water and go. Like, I'm not gonna watch my children die. I'm gonna just jump first. So yeah. And then when I was in Atlanta, working on my PhD, I'm like, I have beautiful skin. I don't wear makeup, so I'm gonna start a skincare line. I was telling my son Sean that, and Sean, like, you're not gonna do taxes no more. Like, no. And I laid it down, and God spoke and said, your millions not in your skincare line. Your millions in your tax business. So
Mm,
from that point on, I just keep trying to grow, and I did have growth, in my business each and every year. So I do know God is real, and I do know I'm chosen for something, because I am destined for greatness. Because I don't even know how I got this PhD. I don't even know. I'm like, it's God. You know,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, I'm so grateful. God is amazing and He loves you. Your job is not done yet. God wants you to continue to do your job.
Yeah,
Karen, thank you for that. Yes, yes, I agree. Thank you, everybody, for your amazing comments. Amen. He was guiding you. He has so much more for you to do. Yes,
yeah,
yes. You have a lot more to do. You're inspiring me. I'm so touched and by your story, and I'm also grateful that you are willing to share, because my thing is, even if we only help one person, we help somebody. And people have to know that, you know what? Don't give up. Pray. God will answer you. God will answer you. Yeah. And so God told you to get up. So how was it for you with Katrina? So like, you left your home. Did you lose your home at the time?
I'm in New Orleans. Yeah, we lost
Okay.
everything. The house went underwater, but I felt special that I was able to hear God's voice to tell me to go. That's why when some people say they don't believe in God, I don't argue with them, but I say, well, I do, and this is my reason. I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna condemn you, because the Bible say, three types of people: a fool, a wise man, a man of knowledge. So I'm not about to sit there and argue with you, but hey, this is why I know He's real.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Ziba, for bringing Dr. Moore to our attention. Please have her back. We definitely will. Because Dr. Moore, we didn't even get to it yet. She has a book. She has so many things that she's working on. And my prayer for sure is, of course, your tax business. I can't wait to see you. I know one day I watch a lot of talk shows. I'm gonna be sitting back and I'm gonna see you on one, and I'm like, I know her. Like, I'm praying that you get this trucking business started in your son's name. You know that he's watching over you. He came to you. And listen, we got confirmation that heaven is real, because he said he's there. And I believe it. I believe
It's
it.
beautiful. Like, mine is beautiful.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Sean. We miss you. Yes. Rest in peace. Yep. So we talked about, everything that happened. God bless, praying for your entire family. And I know that being a single mom is not easy, but I just get the feeling like you did and are doing an amazing job. And you're a wonderful example of how, despite any obstacle,
Yeah.
if you really believe and you hang in there, you can achieve, because you definitely are an example of that. Um, I don't know if you can do it alone or get somebody to help you, but you need to write a book about your story, because you got a story to tell.
Yeah.
You
And
got a story to tell.
I'm on one part. It's just that I had to just speak from the heart as I went, to get my, it just feel good to tell people about my son, you know.
Mhm. I think Dr. Moore, we lost sound. Oh, okay, wait, I think I'm hearing you back now. Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm glad that you chose to invite me, and I would love to come back, and talk more, about the different things I do. I don't know how much time we have left,
No, we
you know.
have we have time. I'm not even going to like cut you short, because I do want you to talk about your tax business. I do want you to tell everybody, where we can get your book. And tell us about, before we get into that, tell me a little bit about teaching, because I know you said you taught the high school and the students. Talk a little bit about that before
But
we
teaching was fun for me because I'm like Madea when it comes to teaching. I scared the kids the first week. I go in strict. I go in and they look at me like she crazy. But then I make it fun for them. So the first thing I do is try to get my order and my respect in place. So like I don't crack a smile. I go in like a drill sergeant. So but for me, I'm in a role, so I want to laugh so bad. Like the first week of school, I had to hold my own laughter in. Cause I'm like, don't say nothing to me, have a seat. That's not, so, but in my head, cause I'm goofy, I'm laughing. I'm like, I don't want the kids to see I'm laughing. So, but then after, like, once they get the rules down packed, they understand the purpose of education, then we develop this strong bond in this relationship. Like, two of my students, I gifted scholarships, for this year. They finished, high school. So I gave both of them, $2,500 scholarship for books because,
nice.
they stuck with me. I taught them for sixth grade and seventh grade. So I'm like, when I made a little more money for my business, I'm gonna go ahead and donate this for their college tuition. I wish I could have helped more, but because they was always straight A students, they always came to me for help and guidance. Even after they left me, they called me and they check on me. So I'm like, you know what, that's my babies. So I'm like, I'm gonna start a foundation. From Royal Financial Services. So now every year I'm gonna try to do two high school scholarships, and I'm gonna start something new this year. I'm gonna do four middle schools for $300 because I want middle school students to see the importance of keeping their grades up, because there is bigger scholarship money out there that could support their education when the parents cannot. So I don't want them to just clown through, high school, then get older, and then decide to say, "Oh, I should have went to college, or I should have went to a trade center, or even entrepreneurship," because that's what I am. Get into entrepreneurship and take the money and invest in it. I just want to give them that little extra little motivation to know that this is middle school, so here $300. But you get to high school. They have individuals that's getting $1 million scholarships because of their grade, the effort, and the essays that they write. Being first generational college students, and etc. So I just want to be, play my role in the community and be effective in pushing other people to go and grow.
I love it. So here we go again. Said nice. Let us know how to support your scholarship fund. So we'll stay in touch, because we'll get more information so that I can make sure everyone knows how they can help support, because every little bit counts. And I mean, I think what you gave is amazing.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Like everything helps. Okay. So this your brother, sister, you will forever be blessed, and you're a great woman to still be able to fulfill your everyday journey. Love you.
And brother.
That's your brother?
Yeah, it's not my biological brother. It's I have a bond with him as a brother. He inspires me too. He's very wise, and he kept me going through this journey too. Like, sis, keep your head up. Sis, you're a businesswoman. Sis, your son looking down at you. So, it's a lot of people that played a role. He's one of them. He's forever in my heart as well.
Well,
Anybody
God
that
bless you.
I feel like
Yes.
you're pet for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. God bless you. Thank you for being part of the support system. We all need a wonderful support system. So that's great. So you taught the kids. Okay, so you still teaching?
I kind of missed it because, like, no, I'm not still teaching because I had told my son before it was murder. I said, well, this gonna be my last year teaching. So after Christmas, I'm not gonna go back. But I went back because I had a duty to my kids after he was murdered. But my job fired me because I still was grieving, and and I don't know if I could say it was shady or if it was procedure, but I asked for extended leave, and then it's like they called like, hey, we're gonna let you go. I'm like, you can't hold my position the next year. No, we're gonna go ahead and fire you. I'm like, it is April, and I did come back. My kids need me. I have a eighth grade homeroom. They're graduating. I didn't even get invited to the graduation. I don't know if maybe they thought that I was grieving too hard and I couldn't come, but it hurted me to say that, where that, I don't excuse my language, where they didn't even, say, well, if you're up to it, come to the graduation. So, I don't hold it personally, but I tell people now I see an even stronger purpose as an entrepreneur because jobs get rid of you.
True. Yes, yes, we definitely have to have you back. That's a whole nother conversation. Yes, yes, it's a shame that that's the way they handled it. But again, sometimes I find with God that he's telling us to move, but we don't move. We stay
And
where we at. And so then he's like, God darn it, I gotta make this girl move. So this is what I'm gonna do. That's what I be thinking sometimes. That's just my thoughts.
phone call when they call me. I say fired, and they're like, "Yeah." I said, "So you firing me? Like it was my fault I lost my son?" And they was like, "Yeah, we sorry to let you go." I said, "So you mean you're not gonna hold my position the next school year?" No, you have to reapply if we're interested in hiring you. I'm like, "So you fired?" I said, "You know what? I have a business. God is awesome. You have a great day. I'm fine with that."
Yeah, it's a shame.
And
He's
that's,
the
and that's
brother you choose. Yeah, she said he's the brother you choose. Your family member there. No, Dr. Moore, that was God. Sometimes we need a love and push out the door to elevate to the level God wants you to be in. I agree. Here we go again. Yes,
and
yes.
that's
Sometimes you gotta
like my
push us.
And that pushed me to my book because my fiance was like, and I was talking about taxes, and he like, baby, you know a lot about taxes. Again, I don't have a degree in taxes. It just came to me because I think sometimes like our purpose and passion can be aligned different from the things that we want to do. Like,
Yeah,
I want to do criminal justice. I want to be a detective. So I did criminal justice. I didn't even do education, but I got stuck in education because I was able to relate to my students. I'm like, I come from the project, I come from poverty. I was a teenage parent. I was once homeless as a teenager. So I had a lot of stories that related to these students in my classroom. So they looked up to me because I shared that. I never was one that kept my head in the air. No, I fed them, I cried with them. You know, um, I went to their house and talked to their mom when they was like, "Oh, mom, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to come talk for you." I tutored them, over the weekends. They called and said, "Hey." Even if they told a story, I had someone text my phone. "Oh, Doc, can you cash app $40? My mom not home. Me and my little brother here. No problem. We need something to eat. Here go the $40." Because to me, it's doing what's right as opposed to trying to figure out why your mama ain't got the money. I'm not the type of person. I feel like if somebody come to you for something, you help. So
yeah,
I share all my stories with my kids, and that's what I miss. And I kept saying like, "Am I an educator or should I be a motivational speaker?" Because I have stories that need to be out there to motivate and inspire people. Because I literally had 8 kids, and I still was able to push through. Like I beat the odds.
yes, you
You know,
did. Yes,
people
you
didn't.
did.
You know, I had 3 kids in high school, and they thought that I wasn't gonna finish. Like, yeah, since you say I'm not gonna finish, I'm gonna do it. Because I do what people say I can't do. So if you tell me you want to see me do something, you can't. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it now. That's just who I am. I won't do it, but now I'm going to do it.
Now
You know,
you do to prove you wrong. Crazy K said you're a very strong woman, and I do agree. And here we go. Correct. Sometimes your purpose does not match your passion. God will direct you as He sees fit. Yes, yes, absolutely. I totally agree. So you said by high school you already had three children?
yeah, yep.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, so you
Kept
did
going.
amazing.
I had to work three jobs sometimes because I knew, that was my choice, because like my grandparents raised me, just to get a little deeper. My mom was into the street, so she sold drugs and stuff like that, for money. And I would look at my family and be like, I don't want to be like them. So my grandparents raised us, and they were real strict. So they didn't tell us nothing about, the birds and the bees, so when I didn't feel loved and felt neglected, I thought that having a boyfriend would fulfill this need and having a baby would fulfill this need, which the children did. But I was in high school, not understanding nothing about life, just as green, and I let God use me how He need to use me, put it like that.
Yes,
I
yes.
asked for all this, I didn't ask for those 8 kids, but He gave them to me. I said some people can't have one, so if He gave me 8, it's His reason,
God
for
bless.
putting in my life,
God
so
bless. Yeah, you did it. You did it.
and that,
They always have friends. They
and
always they will always have a friend. Yes.
I really
So go
motivate
ahead. I'm
them.
sorry.
I just say I motivate my kids to keep going. Like I tell them, go through college. If you don't want to, then go to entrepreneurship. Because again, like jobs not secured. It's like you just working, as a body and not an individual. Because again, I still feel some type of way about the word fired. You know, during my grief. I'm like, it could have been a better word. It could have been a better way. But then I trusted God so much, that I said, and when my fiance said, write that book, I wrote that book in about 5 days. And then I came
Wow.
back, 2 financial literacy books for kids. I did a coloring book for kids. I'm working on my third financial literacy book, to educate children on this. I'm like, I have a purpose, and it is to educate, but I don't think it's meant to be in a school building. My stories need to be shared to inspire people, especially of our, race and, in our community coming from poverty, to see that, it can be done. I'm straight from the project, and my mom was a drug dealer and a murderer, So, my family, because it go hands in hand. When people take these drugs and they overdose, that's murdering them, in my eyesight. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that was that way. And when I talked to her before she passed on, she said I didn't know how to provide, coming out the project. I want to make sure y'all had, and she followed the footsteps of, her older brothers. So I'm like, I love you, you're still my mama, but I want to work. I want to, do things differently. I don't want to harm people, for as selling anything to them or taking anything away from them. So that pushed me in a direction of go to school. Then it took me to get my PhD. I'm at my residency, and the guy said, "Well, getting a PhD not gonna make you a millionaire." And I'm like, "For real? Why I'm here?" But I was, I was, I was too into it. So then I started realizing that if you want to be a millionaire, entrepreneurship gonna be the way. It's
Yeah.
no other way unless you start. Still if you start and you invest, that's entrepreneurship. So I'm like, if I want to be a millionaire, I want to be able to help more in the community. I want my own foundations. I want to just do so much. When God called me home, I want him to say, job well
Job
done.
well done.
Yeah.
You listen, you are definitely going to do it. I'm gonna throw a potential name out there for your first book about your life, because you could probably write several, a part one, a part two, a part three. I'm gonna say from the projects to PhD. That's
Yeah,
probably
I might get that on the shirt. Yeah, because
yes, from the
inspiring. It's
yeah.
inspiring.
Everything happened in your heart. Touching story will help plenty of grieving females. Yes, and you will give them the strength and courage to be able to move on from your words of wisdom. I agree with that. Yes, 100%. Thank you. Replace fire with inspired. That was your time that at that school. it had expired. God let you receive all that you were meant to from that institution. Come on,
Yeah,
here we go again.
I
Love
like.
it.
I love this. I get all this positive feedback. That's good. And I think it's just important to just people can know what other people go through and how they get over it and overcome it and still move forward.
Yeah,
And I was suicidal. I wanted to just go every day. I'm like, oh God, you woke me up again. Like that.
yeah,
I get up like I took 8 pills and this man woke me up. That was my attitude about it. And I'm like, you know what? I still have a purpose.
you still have a purpose. Yes, God saved you, and so did your son. He like, God help my mama. Help my mama. She got to be here. I got brothers and sisters. From PJs to PhD. Yes, write
You
that down. That's your title.
Yeah,
And it's a great story. And I think amazing because you did very well to have had three children still in high school. That's a lot. Like,
yeah.
God bless you. I mean,
So I didn't really have that help, but she was gone. She left. In the midst of all that. So yeah.
yeah. So
No,
we gotta, before we close out, tell everybody where they could get your book.
can I type in here in the chat?
Yeah, you can type in the chat. I think you should be able to. I'm
I
new at this too, but I think you can type in the chat. And then also too, generically, if you can give us your best tax tip,
okay. Let me put this in there.
you put
Okay,
that in the chat first.
okay. But let me
And,
spell it.
and and everybody, don't forget to hit the like button while you're in here, enjoying this very inspirational story tonight. Support everyone and get the book. We spend our money on so many things. We can support and get this tax book, and it's going to give us some great information. So make sure you support. And
Did you?
Dr. Moore, I don't,
I don't.
I don't, I don't see it, but don't worry. What we'll do is, also, you can send me all the information in the email, and I will go update all the descriptions, and I will make sure I put all the information in there if I did not, because I think we want everybody to go out and support and get the book and follow Dr. Moore on all of her social media platforms. So go ahead and just tell them where they can at least follow you out, and just tell them where they can get the book at. Where
I
can we get the
have,
book?
um. I have a website. It's the Text Doctor, but it's not OR, but it's DOCTA. That's why I want to put it in there. It's the Text Doctor, DOCTA.com.
Great.
So like
Um,
that.
right. Tell your brother that maybe he could type it all in the chat for us, because I don't know how to pronounce his name, but yes, but if
If
you can type,
anybody that work for me is on here, type
yeah,
the website.
tell him to type the information in the chat. Um,
It's the Text Doctor uh .com, DOCTA. So I don't know who all viewing. But
yep,
if you say one text tip,
yes,
okay, I'll tell people like never exaggerate numbers of dependents. Like a lot of people come to me and they don't have any taxes taken out. And I'm like, what's going on here? You made $40,000, at least 10% should be on the federal side. And like, oh well, I put down 10 dependents so I can get all my money. I said, now you're gonna pay all the money back. So when you put the infamous 10, 9 or 8, and you only have two dependents, and now you want to get a refund, it's not gonna happen because you're gonna pay those taxes back at the end. The IRS gonna get the money either during the payroll and on the paycheck period or at the end. So it's no way of escaping paying taxes.
yeah. Don't lie.
Right.
Don't
It's just
don't don't lie. Don't lie. Don't lie and cheat the IRS. If there's one person you don't want to mess with, and that's the IRS. Yes. And so, what social media outlets can we follow you on?
okay. So I'm on Facebook, and I would like to put. I'm going to send it to you. It's on the Royal Financial Tax Service
Okay.
Services. So Royal Financial Tax Services on Facebook and on Instagram. One of my employees changed the spelling. So it's Royal underscore financial, but they have an A in front. They have FIANAN. They spelled it wrong, So it's off. That's why I need to put it in here. And I couldn't go back and change it because of someone had took the name in the midst of them changing mine. So I'm gonna try
Um,
this chat again. So I'm all hooked up on here. So I see my chat, it say private. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
why.
don't hit the one that does it because private just goes to me. Hit the other one that doesn't say private. But don't worry, I told you I'm gonna make sure that I put it into so
Okay.
we'll work it out together because we're definitely going to support. I'm definitely going to get your book. And I had just an amazing, amazing conversation with you. You are so inspirational, and I'm thankful to your village that has supported you and that just encouraged you because I don't think anyone would ever understand what it's like losing a child unless they have lost a child. So
Yeah.
it's something that none of us will be able to ever understand, and we don't want anyone else to ever be able to understand that. And definitely, I think you got a lot in you. Motivational speaking is definitely something you can put down on the plate there because I'm telling you, just like your story is amazing. There's so many things, there's so many aspects to it. And like I said, just having being a parent of with three children in high school, it's like how you did that and still graduated high school. That's a story in and of itself.
On time. I still graduated at 17.
Look at you. Look at you. And the reason why I say that's a story in and of itself, I think sometimes, people sit in their own mess and sorrow and they like to, feel sorry for themselves like this happened, that happened, whatever. And it's like to hear someone say, listen, I had three children in high school and I still graduate on time. My mother at 16 passed away, and I still managed to still be here and have the strength, and then all of the different things that you went through. It's just an amazing story. Amazing story. I will come back to Diva's channel for your links, Dr. Moore. So
Okay.
yes, I got I gotta put them in there. Okay. And here we go again. I gotta get better. So I'm gonna make sure to, oh, you know what, Dr. Moore, I am seeing it. It is coming through in the private chat. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I thought that let me see. I thought that I what do you call it? Had put it in have I put it in let me see, I might have did something there. I put it there. Do you see it? So I did I did the WW tax doctor. I put it in the chat. Here we go again. And let me see if I could get your other one. I'll copy and then
Yeah,
all
and I'm
right.
here. Anybody would like to invite me to anything else, I would love to start my motivational speaking, to kids and individuals that need to be motivated, and also do free financial literacy lessons. Like my first year is gonna be my pilot year,
Mm-hmm.
where I go to different schools and teach a class and give some assignments. I did have the opportunity to go back to my old school and read my first book, and I received feedback from a lot of the kids, and they're like, "Oh, I love the story." My first literacy book for kids is The Tax Doctor Saves Christmas. So it pretty much teach them like what is taxes, why it's important to pay taxes, how taxes help, with your parents if they get a refund, with being able to buy certain things, credit repair. My second book is about budgeting, how to budget and save. And my third one is starting entrepreneurship. So, and I also have a surprise thing. I have a dog. I have my own tax doctor dog that I haven't released yet. So it's a dog of me. I think it would be the first African American entrepreneurship dog. So I'm just gonna do the research on it before I call it that, and I'm trying to pray that somebody pick it up for me in the stores to sell it, or buy it from me. But I just wanna get all of me that God put in me out. And again, and that my fiance sit there hours on the phone, hours with me, talking to me, listening to me, hearing out and thinking about do this, try that, try this. And then he hold me accountable the same way Sean did. In my room, I have a whiteboard on the wall, and my son always come in here and say, "Why that's still on the board?" I'm like, "Cause I was asleep." Excuse me. So now my fiance does that. Let me see that board. That's still up there. Take that down. And he will, walk through whatever. If I'm struggling, yeah, let's talk about it. So I thank God for that man too, because I've been married twice. It didn't work. I think I jumped in at an early age in my second marriage. It lasted 8 years, but it wasn't, pushing me. And this guy here, he actually pushes me to be the best version of me. So I'm just taking my pace, like, God, I'm letting you do things this time. And like I say, we dated like 20 years ago, and we just came back in each other's life. And I'm like, I'm not looking for no love. I lost a son, you know, and me
You
like,
like what you that what's that song? I forgot the singer's name. Like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? I can't think of the song name right now.
Deborah
You're not
Cox,
supposed to be here.
Deborah
You're
Cox,
not
yeah,
supposed. Yes, that song. So yes, and listen, on Wednesdays, today is Wednesday, but I thought this was a great conversation. On Wednesdays, I do a segment, Relationship Wednesdays, and I would love for you and your fiance to come up here, because when
cool,
are supporting someone that is going through something, and you can stick through with them through the good and the bad, like that's real. Yes, Deborah Cox song. Yeah,
yeah,
Deborah Cox. Yeah. You're not supposed to be it. So, that's really real. That's the person you want in your life that can be with you through it all.
yeah,
And yeah, he's amazing, but you have an amazing village. And in addition to that, you have a special angel in heaven watching over you.
yeah,
So Sean, I'm glad he's at peace, and I'm glad he's with God.
yeah,
I mean, not that he was taken away from you, but I'm glad to know that since he was taken away, that he's at peace and that he's with God,
and
and
I
that
feel
heaven is real.
I gave birth to someone that special that God had to call him home early because he needed them more. So I do
Yeah,
look at it like, because again, I'm gonna say nobody had anything negative to say about my son. Everybody that knew him was like, everybody was shocked, devastated for one. It's like everybody wanted revenge. Like, people, I'm like, I had a village of people around here, like, who did it? Where they at? Like, I mean, hundreds and of people that I don't even know. That's how impactful my son was in people's lives.
wow.
And everybody that I met, the teachers, and down the line was like, he was a great child. He didn't deserve it. But again, I have a spiritual relationship with God. We all leaving here, at some point. Just live out our best, do our purpose, and we good.
We good. Dr. Shawanda Moore, I love you. I thank you.
I love you.
Um, Yes, I am praying for you. Your story is so inspirational. And I mean, I'm praying with you and I see it. Okay. I can't wait. I'm going to be so proud to say she came to us first. You're going to like this motivational speaking, your book, your foundations, your scholarships, just teaching the young children, how to do the taxes and be financially literate. I love it. Yeah, we say amen, Dad. They tell you stay strong.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. Well done. Yeah. After meeting your son. Yeah, it's already saying, yeah, God is saying already saying, well done after meeting your son. Oh, here we go again. That's so beautiful. Yes.
She's trying to make me cry, but I promised my son I wasn't gonna cry.
Yes. Oh my God. That's so beautiful.
And I
Here we go
everybody
ahead.
that tuned in, I do appreciate, especially for the feedback because it's needed, in our society. We have to be able to talk things amongst each other and be able to support each other,
Yes.
and not like, well, I didn't lose a child, so who cares? We get a lot of that, from time to time when stuff happen, we don't get involved, we don't check on each other, and we don't like to hear people's stories because we feel like we can't relate. But then sometimes you have to be able to listen to be able to see how can I help, or what I do if it happens to me, or how do I assist somebody, when it happens, because I'm not the first person to lose a child, and I'm not going to be the last person.
Right. Hopefully, though, to be honest with you, hopefully, with each person just doing their part, eventually we can lessen the violence in our communities.
Yeah.
By teaching people that you can, like you're the prime example of, although you had a child in high school or you had your three children in high school, you still achieved.
Yeah.
You still achieve greatness. I mean, just having your PhD in and of itself, like that's amazing. You have people that have no children and say they can't even step foot in a school.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's amazing. I love you. I thank you. We're going to be in touch because we're going to have a relationship conversation with you and your fiance because this is what people need too. It's easy to stand by somebody during good times, but how do you support someone when maybe they're at their lowest and they need you to help rise them up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So your village is amazing. Tell them, even though we didn't get to meet them, we love them all. Thank you again. And
You,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said thank you for allowing me to share, and I see Crazy K and all these names in here. Thank you guys for joining in.
Yes, thank you everyone in the chat. And we will support and purchase your book and we will be in touch. Good night, everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button. And thank you again, Dr. Moore. Take
Okay,
care. God bless.
you too. Thanks.